And Yoha, what's going on? I'm here to talk to you today about Pokemon X and Y, or just X, since I only have X currently. Um, well, before we start with Generation 6, let me say I've been playing Pokemon since Generation 1, and I don't really have a preference as to far what's my favorite is. Like, Gen 1 was the best, Gen 2 was the best, Gen 3 was the best, Gen 4 was the best, Gen 5, Gen 6 is the best, Gen 6 just came out. Shut the fuck up. How can it be the best? Well, obviously it is the best, but shut the fuck up. Anyway, or the best thus far. Ah. Moving on, though, there's certain things I liked about each generation, obviously. Something that pops out immediately from my head, I would say from Generation 4 would be the Poffin system and making Poffins and spinning around the Poffin and not spilling the pot and giving the Poffins to my Pokemon to go become a little Pokemon coordinator and, like, be all Pokemon out and my Pokemon looking all pretty, pretty, shiny, shiny. Pretty, pretty, shiny, shiny. But I don't really have that many effects, so I just have to go with the effect of being awesome. Moving on. I haven't beaten the game yet. I have 7 of the 8 gym badges required to have all 8 gym badges. I'm not really rushing anymore because I've been hearing a lot of people saying they've beaten the game, and I realized once I beat the game, I don't have much else to do besides catch the legendaries and all the post game stuff, which is nice and all. It's fun, but I want to enjoy the game, I want to soak it all in. I want to bask in the nuance of the region of Kalos and all of its goodness. I want to go to the forest cavern and catch every Pokemon. I want to freaking go make Pokemon PR videos that are completely and utterly pointless, but it's a nice aesthetic or extra to the game, like I was saying earlier, similar to the Poppins or the berries or the. Let me think of something that doesn't involve the berries and the Poppins. Or the hopping bike. Yes, who doesn't like a bike that can bunny hop all over the place? But overall, I would rate the game. I had to give it a rating. Do I want to be generic and say it's perfect 10 out of 10? I just want to go ahead and say it's a 10 out of 10 for right now. Maybe go back later and give a more in-depth review on it and why I gave it a 10 out of 10. Or maybe the score might decrease. Who knows? Also, I see with the Pokemon Bank coming out, I see a lot of event Pokemon being released. They mentioned Genesect inside the game, and a few others to my knowledge. And so the fact that this and the Pokemon Bank coming out makes me really think that they're going to try to use this Pokemon Bank as a way to. Okay, I'm totally buying the Pokemon Bank. I'm on $6 a year. I get to store 3,000 Pokemon on the Ethernet in the sky. I don't even have 3,000 Pokemon in total. Probably have 1,000 Pokemon in total. So the fact that I can store that many online is a really, really great asset that I feel I will continue to use. I mean, they plan to use it in future installments in the series. They plan to allow you to, even if you take your Pokemon off the cloud, it's still on the cloud. It's kind of weird. So it's almost like you're downloading a duplicate of the Pokemon. So I'm guessing eventually once you put the Pokemon on the cloud, there might be some like deletion type process to get rid of that Pokemon from the cloud. So it's not taking one of the 3,000 spaces, but 3,000 spaces. Who's going to really be able to fill that up? If you're going to fill that up, please let me know how much of a life you don't have, because seriously. Seriously. But okay, moving on. What about that? DLC. So with the Pokemon Bank and the inclusion of all these event Pokemon, I see some DLC coming. Perhaps some story progression following the king, the silver-haired guy, the king from 3,000 years ago. Perhaps Lizandre will come back. I mean, it's kind of clear that he died, but maybe he didn't die. It's the Pokemon world. They'll pull some like, oh, he just got hurt really badly, and I haven't beaten the game yet, so maybe he is still alive in the context of the game. Ooh, so maybe I'm speaking before I know what's going on. The exact word I was looking for, it escapes me. Moving on. So with that being said, I got DLC, and I see a good 2 years of DLC before we even catch one of Pokemon Z. With Pokemon Z, I imagine a fuller, more fleshed out story, perhaps. Maybe we'll pull a a black 2 and white 2, where it takes place a few years after the first games, which will be an interesting idea. Perhaps 2 years later, perhaps 3 years later, maybe a bit more time. And I don't know if this will be possible at all with that in mind. Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. With the DLC, then eventually I see a remake of Generation 3 games coming during this 2-year period of DLC before Pokemon Z. Or maybe it will happen after. I don't really know. I don't work at Nintendo. I'm just speculating. But yeah, I definitely see a remake of Generation 3 coming this time around, with inclusion with the 3D and all that good stuff. A lot of the game on the Game Boy Advance kind of popped at you, you know. So I imagine they'll use that 3D ability to pop at you. Chikorita stylus. Your tears, I'm drinking them. Um, I say this because think about it. You have Generation 3, which is an odd number. Then we have Generation 1, which is an odd number. And then you had Generation 1 remakes about the same time as the Generation 3 remakes. And now we have Generation 6, 3 is half of 6. Come on, it only makes sense, right? With that logic. Can't argue with it, right? But, alright, that's really all I wanted to say for this video. Anyhow, there'll still be other videos coming about other ideas and expanding from some of the ideas in this video. Just kind of wanted to get this out there because I wasn't really doing anything else right now with my free time besides playing Pokemon and being on Facebook. So, alright, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Emolga, what is it? Tumblr? What the fuck? I don't know. You kids and your newfangled websites, Twitter, and all that other good stuff. Doubtless would ever reach those places. But it's your boy Afro-less hostile Afro signing off. All like late and stuff. Yeah.